Welcome back to the laboratory. This is Exploring Creation with Physical Science Experiment 14.3, Wavelength and Sound. And the procedure for this experiment is published in J. Wile's Exploring Creation with Physical Science, 2nd edition, published in 2007 by Apologia Educational Ministries. And the purpose of this experiment is to observe the dramatic effect that the wavelength of sound waves has on the sound that we hear. Okay, so the equipment and materials used in this experiment include water and then a glass or plastic bottle. I'm using this one. I really like these, but you could use just like a plain old water bottle. Either of those will work fine. And then the author suggests that you wear eye protection or safety goggles or safety glasses. In this experiment, I'm just going to be using my regular glasses because all I'm using is water. Okay, so step 1 of the procedure tells us to empty out the bottle and rinse it out with water. And then we're going to hold it up to our mouths so the top edge of the bottle opening just touches the bottom lip. Then step 3 tells us to purse your lips, blow across the top of the bottle. And it may take some practice, but you'll eventually produce a sound that sounds like it's coming from a horn. Blow a few times to get an idea of what the sound sounds like. Okay, and that's why you are getting my face rather than my hands in this video because I kind of need to, blow with my lips, not my hands. Here we go. So that is the sound of an empty bottle. Now the procedure tells us to fill the bottle 3/4 full of water and then repeat the blowing steps 2 and 3. And this is where I find a funnel is super helpful. It's not listed in the equipment and materials, but I do find that that is helpful to prevent spilling the water everywhere. So let's fill that 3/4 full. And here now is my bottle 3/4 full, and let's listen to the difference. So hopefully you can tell that the pitch is higher in the bottle that is 3/4 full of water. Now I've kind of cheated here a little bit, and I actually have multiple bottles for this experiment, so I can go back and forth. So this is the original empty one. And now the 3/4 full one. Can you hear that pitch difference? I hope so. Okay, so obviously you want to go ahead and write down what you are observing after blowing into each bottle before moving on to the next step. Step 6 tells us to empty out that water bottle and refill it so it's only half full. And then we are going to repeat steps 2 and 3. But because I have multiple bottles, I have my half full bottle here, and this is what the pitch sounds like. So let's compare that again. Empty. 3/4 full. And now half full. So the pitch of the half full bottle is actually lower than the 3/4 full bottle. However, it is higher than the empty bottle. Just keeping those straight by way of comparison. Go ahead and write down those results before moving on to the next step of the procedure. That tells us to empty out the bottle and now fill it so it is only 1/4 full. And then repeat steps 2 and 3 again. let's compare that. So this was our empty bottle. The second one that we did was the 3/4 full. Then the half full. And then the 1/4 full. So the 1/4 full bottle actually has a lower pitch than the 3/4 full and the half full, but a slightly higher pitch than the empty bottle. Go ahead and write down that observation before moving on to the next step of the procedure. Then step 10 says empty the rest of the water out, and repeat steps 2 to 3 one more time. The sound you should get, it should be essentially the same as what you started with. And again, that's the empty bottle. Okay, so I'm actually going to do an additional step here and arrange these from empty all the way up to 3/4 full. And I'll go ahead and blow in them for you. Here we go, empty. 1/4 full. Half full. 3/4 full. So hopefully you can note the pitch difference there. Now it's important to observe the conclusion that waves with a low pitch have a low frequency, and waves with a high pitch have a high frequency. So our higher pitched, fuller bottle, those sound waves have a higher frequency, and our lower pitched, empty bottle, those sound waves have a low frequency. Well, I don't have a whole lot of talent blowing in these bottles, but there's a fantastic band that you can find YouTube videos called the Bottle Boys, and I highly recommend that you visit their YouTube videos to watch some real talent of blowing in these bottles to make some fantastic music. That is it today for experiment 14.3. Thank you so much for joining me in the laboratory today, and I'll see you next time.